hell? Welcome in once again to another Johnny Torch live broadcast. Broadcast number 226 today. We bring you Torch News Roundup number 269. And we are here high above the fair metropolis below in stately Torch Tower on a nice warm Saturday afternoon. The humidity's broken a little bit. We've had a really hot summer up here in the East Coast, New England area. But we have a little relief now. It's getting to the end of August, probably the last broadcast in August. Quite possibly. We've got another Wednesday. Sometimes I do a Wednesday middle of the week broadcast, so there's always the possibility of that. Welcome in. Thank you for joining the program. And as you may have seen in the description there, we've got a pretty sizable amount of stuff to talk about. Before we get into the Torch News Roundup proper, though, of course, I would like to bring to you once again the gift of The Adventures of Bullets, Bourbon, Private Eye. How's about those trailers, those commercials? They really cook, huh? Yeah, I like them. I really did a good job on them, I think. I'm quite pleased with them. The issue in question that we're doing right now is the Family Jewels arc. We've completed the 3-part arc, which is sort of dubbed the Death of Bullets Bourbon arc. This is the most recent issue in the final hours where Bullets meets his match in a life and death struggle with Carrot Top, his arch nemesis. It's a very cathartic storyline. It's probably the most meaningful story, the most personal story I've done, which, again, I always say when an artist says that it's their most personal story, usually it's not that great. In this case, I think it is quite great. I think, it's probably the most, I don't want to say dark, because we don't really do very dark stories compared to the grim dark stuff that's out there now. But dealing with the Death of Bullets Bourbon and all that stuff, it is really very earnest and slightly more serious, I guess, than the other stories in the saga. But again, that's for you to decide. Check it out in the link in the description below. You can find us on Indie Planet, where we have the 3 collections, the Bullets Bourbon Chronicles. It's Always Something, the first issue, which has been remastered. We have the second story arc, which is Knock on Wood, which is the 2-part story where the introduction to Pencil Neck is revealed. Of course, we've got him coming up in our next story arc, so you might want to grab that one in order to get up to speed. But you can generally start at any storyline, any juncture, and you pretty much get the general idea what the story's, how the story works, how the storyline unfolds in the universe. And finally, the third is the Bullets Bourbon Chronicles remaster series is the When the Night Comes, which is the Carrot Top Pencil Neck team up, where both villains unite their forces, and the world itself is the objective. They want nothing less than world domination in their attempt to take over the world. That's one of my favorite stories as well. I really enjoy that one, but I love them all. Very difficult to pick a favorite. And of course, then we have the 3 issues that are recently been put out in the arc of the Family Jewels arc, which finds Carrot Top going back to his father, the Dawn of the Vegetable Garden Gang, which is one of the 5 families in organized crime in Stark City. And they go to war with the Fruit Salad Mob, who is the second most powerful mob in Stark City. The gang war that ensues involves Bullets Bourbon in the middle, where he is also called upon to join forces with Veronica Sinclair, the beautiful and deadly temptress that works for Carrot Top. And the question is, will she sway him to the dark side? You will have to read it to find out, but it leads to the climactic clash in the final hours, where Bullets has a life and death struggle with Carrot Top, which he needs to overcome if he's to continue on. Now, once again, I want to draw your attention to the beautiful funeral armbands that we had created. Professional quality here. I spared no expense for this seminal moment in comic book history. I noticed that, to this day, we're still talking about the death of Superman, and it's even trended yesterday. And I wanted to make my mark quite the same way on comic book history with the death of Bullets Bourbon's story arc. Here we have the funeral commemorative armbands, which we enclose in the package deal. We've got all 3 issues of the Family Jewels story arc, which includes the Family Jewels, Temptation Eyes, and In the Final Hours. That is roughly about 60 pages of content for you. We also throw in a limited edition Carrot Top frame, the man who did in Bullets Bourbon, unfortunately, in the storyline, and a magnet and some stickers. We do it all here just to commemorate this great story arc. And while supplies last, there are only 20 of these made, only 20 of these available. And while supplies last, you can get in on a part of comic book history. You can get in on the Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye at the ground level, because we're only going further onward and upward with this storyline. We're not going anywhere. And we have our next issue, the most recent issue that I've completed, which is number 10 in the series, issue 10. This marks our 10th year. 2022 marks our 10th year in publishing. So we have Bullets Bourbon issue 10. This is the beginning of the 3-issue arc we're calling Man of Our Times. And the first issue is called Get the Lead Out. And as you can see, Pencilneck is alive and well, but he has lost his powers. And he is now being released from Stark City Wing for the Criminally Insane, Lockmore Prison's Wing for the Criminally Insane, as a sane and powerless former criminal mastermind. What is his intentions now that he's been released in our big 10th anniversary issue? You'll have to pick it up to find out. We are going to press with this one within the next couple of weeks. We are still tweaking it and refining it. We're getting the files prepared for the printer. I already went back and had to, address a couple of issues. We're at that point in the completion where, you got to address a couple of things that you have to fix up before it goes to print. You want to catch everything, ideally, before you go to print and not have to, fix up stuff after the fact. But this is going to be another doozy. And this is going to wrap up season 1, as we call it. 12 issues per season, which took 10 years. But again, like I said before, we had 3 trades, actually. We remastered the first 3 story arcs, and that took up about 2 years, a year and a half maybe. And that kind of put us a little bit behind schedule. I was hoping to be a little further along within this first 10 years, but again, it's a learning curve. That's why I don't think you really have to wait to get started. I personally think just getting in the pool and starting to swim is the best course of action. If you want my advice, you can always go back and remaster them like I did, put the issues together in a trade where they'll always be, exactly as you wanted them. But at first, you're just learning. It's not going to come perfect. It's not going to come pristine, unless, of course, maybe you have all the money in the world and you can afford to hire every Tom, Dick, and Harry that has been in the industry for 5-10 years. And maybe that's helpful. But if you're going to just be a cartoonist like I am, you're gonna have to get in there and get your feet wet. You're gonna have to take the bumps and learn exactly what your weaknesses are and how to make them better and stronger. And like I said, I went to a con not too long ago, and there was an older gentleman there who was in the business, and he was telling me, you look like you've gotten better as you've gone on, and that's always the goal. That's the ideal, is to continually get better every time. And in this case, I learned how to use, the rain effect. The issue before, in the final hours, we used a snow effect. And it's always important to try to learn how to use new techniques, do new things. I'm learning how to do lettering a little bit better each time. It's only going to get better from here on, and I'm going to be here for the long haul. Not a Johnny come lately, as I like to say. I've been doing it for, several years in publishing, but even before that, I created the character of Bullets Bourbon when I was 13, 14 years old. And so literally this is, decades in the making. So we're building up the empire. You can get in on it on the ground up. Like I said, we have, I still have 2 issues left, 2 copies of the first issue as it was originally created. They're not going to be available anymore. They've been taken down from the Indie Planet website earlier this year. The same for issues 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you want any of those, you're going to have to DM me. You're going to have to contact me on my contact page on my website. I can get those to you, and affordably. But you're going to have to let me know, because those are becoming increasingly rare. But check out the link in the description below. You can check out our website. You can find all the previous issues. You can find, like I said, the contact page where you can get back issues that while supplies last. And you can get that great limited edition 20, limited to 20 pack with the funeral armbands for the Death of Bullets Bourbon storyline. All right, so check that out. And you can also check out the link in the description below for my Twitter page. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Do all those great things, all those fun things. And we will carry on now with the news at hand. Let's take a look at, now this is a story that I've been following, and we call this our Ezra Miller update.
Did you want to fight? Is that the deal?
Whoa, bro.
Fight?
So Ezra has been on a crazy lunatic, like they say, a cook's tour. Well, he's been doing sort of a kook's tour, a lunatic's tour, where he's gone basically all over the country doing crazy things, committing crazy felonies, doing all kinds of stuff like that there. I personally have found this to be a hilarious story to follow. Now, I know a lot of other YouTubers are going to follow what's going on with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard and what's going on with Vic Mignogna. I have no interest in that, quite honestly. I don't care what's going on there. But watching the insanity that is Ezra Miller rampaging his way across the United States of America, I can't help but say I am amused. It probably is not amusing when you hear he's got like a cult and he's this guy. I don't get it. I quite frankly don't get it. Who would follow this guy, let alone see him as a cult leader? But finally, we're told that apparently Ezra Miller is going to walk back the insanity. He is going to try to behave himself, or excuse me, themselves. If we are to remain on air, I guess we have to toe the politically correct line. But Ezra is meeting apparently with execs from Warner Brothers to try to walk back this insanity. They still want to get this Flash movie out. They want it to be successful. Apparently, according to the powers that be, this is a very successfully tested film. It's gotten the best reviews since The Dark Knight, apparently. I can't say that with a straight face, but apparently that's what's going on. And that's why they desperately want him to keep it together so that they can get this movie in theaters without any embarrassment, or at least without any more embarrassment than has already been occurred. Now, let me look at the copy here. Earlier in August, Ezra Miller apologized for the behavior, saying in a statement, "Having recently gone through a time of intense crises, I now understand that I am suffering complex mental health issues and have begun ongoing treatment. I want to apologize to everyone that I have alarmed and upset with my past behavior. I'm committed to doing the necessary work to get back to a healthy, safe, and productive stage in my life." They're hoping that's enough of an apology, so to speak, to try to keep the hounds at bay, I guess. It was unclear at the time if Miller's apology would open the door for him to stay on as the fastest man alive, but there is now new information regarding the standing at Warner Brothers. According to The Hollywood Reporter on Wednesday, August 24th, the same day as Batgirl's funeral screenings took place, which thankfully that is not going to be a thing, by the way. Ezra Miller visited the Warner Brothers lot alongside his agent to meet with studio heads Pamela Abdi and Michael DeLuca. Per the report, Miller's visit was to reaffirm their commitment to The Flash, apologize for bringing negative attention to the production and to Warner Brothers, and commit to finding help. The trade further stated that Miller feels particularly attached to the role of Barry Allen and agreed to get help once that they heard that Abdi and DeLuca were considering canceling The Flash. This isn't the first time in recent months that Miller has been in touch with Warner Brothers for Flash-related affairs. In August, The Hollywood Reporter stated the actor had taken part in additional photography for The Flash in the summertime of 2022 amid legal issues. Warner Brothers recently have, we'll get to that story in a few minutes. Let's see. According to The Hollywood Reporter, CEO David Zaslav is committed to keeping the movie's current release date, and work is well underway on the project as a scoring session is reportedly scheduled to take place in the near future. Furthermore, The Flash is said to be inspiring a much higher morale among the company than it had at the middle of Miller's controversies. As mentioned, it had been reported that Warner Brothers did not plan to keep the Flash star in the DCEU following the film's release. However, Miller's reported meeting with the studio seems to suggest there could be an opportunity for him to stay on as Barry Allen. The Flash is still scheduled for release in theaters June 23rd, 2023. All right, so there you have it. He's going to be a good boy, or they're going to be a good them for this upcoming Flash movie, hoping that they're going to salvage the career of Ezra Miller and this film. I don't know. What do you think about this? Do you think they should still show Ezra the door at least after the film? I don't really see how this film is. They got the benefit of Michael Keaton in it as Batman. The problem being, though, that they completely scrub Batgirl. I think supposedly, I've heard conflicting reports, and I don't really know which is true. So that's why we're not really making that a storyline today on the news roundup. But according to some sources, the film has been completely deleted. There is no record of that film existing anymore, and any footage of Michael Keaton is gone. And the common theory about this would be because they don't want it leaked, that it's so bad as to be embarrassing, that they don't want to tarnish the character, the actors, or the studio with a terrible take. And there's other reports I've heard that they had a funeral, quote unquote, viewing of the film before it was locked into, the vault, quote unquote, to probably never be heard from again. But if that's the case, then it's going to be leaked. It's going to be another one of those like Roger Corman Fantastic Four films where it was never really intended to be released, but you can pretty much find it on YouTube or anywhere online. Anyway, so let me know what you think about this. Is all forgotten? Did Ezra kiss and make up enough here for your satisfaction, or you think maybe he should still be shown the door? Let me know what you think in the comments below. All right, so next up, some story has been going around here. Originally, it was just rumor, but now it's been confirmed that talks are ongoing in the MCU for the Fantastic Four movie. Yes, we were just talking about them, the new Fantastic Four movie, to be directed by a director named Matt Shakman. Now, I've never heard of this guy, but apparently he is the showrunner for WandaVision, I guess. He was the showrunner for WandaVision. And they're going to be seriously looking at him to take over for the Fantastic Four. I think he probably, if I'm going by WandaVision, would be a good choice because they did manage to walk the line between, conventional comedy plus action adventure superheroics. I think that he did a pretty good job there. You see a lot of people sort of poo-pooing WandaVision. I think it was a pretty good show. I don't know. I don't really see why people have a problem with it, but I do think the sort of comedy send-ups of the 60s shows were a lot more successful than the, sort of suspense intrigue storyline of the show. I think he could handle the action, though. I mean, they did a pretty good job at the end with the Vision versus White Vision battle. We still got to see, the ramifications of that. And, of course, Scarlet Witch versus Agatha. I think he can handle the action portion of this as well. All right, let me look at the copy here before we go any further. Earlier this week, rumors surfaced that WandaVision director Matt Shakman, or Shackman, I don't know which way to pronounce it, was being eyed to direct Marvel Studios' Fantastic Four reboot. Spider-Man No Way Home helmer John Watts originally nabbed the job, but later decided to depart the project after a very hectic few years bringing the web-slinger to the big screen in the MCU. Now, though, the trades have weighed in and confirmed that the director is officially in talks with the studio. The expectation is that his involvement will be announced at next month's D23, an event where there have previously been rumblings about the movie's cast being revealed. Shackman made a splash helming episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia before heading to Westeros for Game of Thrones. Last July, he was announced as the director of December's Star Trek IV, though we'd imagine he's no longer attached to that project. That's right, I was just thinking of that the other day. Whatever happened to the Star Trek IV movie that was supposedly going to be out? Because if I remember correctly, they suggested it would be out next year, which meant primary photography would have to have been rolling by summer at least. It sounds like Shackman was the director to beat, as his work on WandaVision inspired a lot of confidence from Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige. The show received widespread critical acclaim when it was released and later earned several Emmy nominations, including Best Director for Shackman. Let's see. Fantastic Four is still set to be released in theaters November 8th, 2024. All right, so again, very interesting. I'm not really sure what to think beyond what I know from WandaVision. But like I said, he seems like a pretty capable choice. I really didn't want to see John Watts do it because I really didn't like very much of his tone for Spider-Man. I guess that was the Kevin Feige approved choice tone for Spider-Man, but I didn't like it very much. Again, it's going to remain to be seen if they ruin Fantastic Four the way they've pretty much, ruined Spider-Man, where they're going to have race changes to the principal characters, whether they're going to have a slightly more mature tone. I thought the comedy in Spider-Man was a little too mature, to be quite honest with you. I don't think Spider-Man really should be that much of a mature comedy, but we'll see how they take it with Fantastic Four. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think this is a good choice? We shall see. All right, next up, a lot of dates. We were going to talk about this. A lot of dates being moved around for Warner Brothers with the DC EU as it stands. I don't know why they keep doing this. Is this part of... I think part of the explanation is that Zaslav is kind of cash-strapped, seeing as how the mismanagement of Warner Brothers has been going on for several years. But both Aquaman 2 and Shazam 2 are now going to be set for 2023 releases. And the only DCEU film we have left in 2022 is going to be Black Adam, which comes out a little over a month from now. Let's see. It looks like, Juan Colette Sierra's Black Adam will be the last DC film of the year, as Deadline is reporting that Warner Brothers has pushed David F. Sandberg's Shazam! Fury of the Gods from this December to March 17th, 2023. The date was previously held by James Wan's Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which is now heading to Christmas 2023. Wow, they can't push that Aquaman far enough. I think what they really want to do is they want to honor their commitment to Amber Heard to be in the film, but she's persona non grata among fans, and it's going to be a hard sell no matter how much they push it off. But I think they're really thinking absence makes the heart grow fonder, and eventually people will just want to see Aquaman so badly. Another frame of thought is that maybe they're reshooting a lot of it to cover Amber Heard's absence. And of course, the latest scuttlebutt is now Ben Affleck is reprising the role of Bruce Wayne, possibly Batman. We really don't know to this extent what he's going to be doing in the film. I just keep saying to myself, just get, off the pot. You know what I mean? Stop pussyfooting around. Get these movies out. They're pretty much done. We know for a fact Aquaman. I mean, what else can they do with this film? They're going to put it off for another full year, literally more than a year. And when did the last Aquaman film come out now? At this point, I don't even remember. It seems like it's been forever. 2018, it says. Wow, it seems like it's been longer ago than that. We're looking at least 5 years between films. I mean, this was $1 billion franchise for them, and they're just like sitting on it and not at least making it a priority at this point. I mean, Aquaman 3 should be out by now. I mean, I don't really get it beyond that, they're trying to salvage Amber Heard being in it is the only thing I can imagine why they want to keep pushing it back. As for Shazam, again, they keep pushing back this film. This is another film that, when did this come out? Let me see if I can find, no, I don't see the year that came out, but I think it was like a year later, maybe in 2019. You got to remember, you have a juvenile cast in Shazam. And kids that are 13, 14, they're going to grow up pretty quick. You wait 5 years, they're not a juvenile cast anymore. They're 19, 20-year-old heartthrobs. And that's why I think it would have been wise of them to fast-track Shazam as well. But Shazam, again, that should be a film on its third film, probably by 2024 at least. They should have been on their third film, and they're still barely getting out the second film. I don't know. Let's see. The release date change was heavily rumored for weeks, but it's now been made official as the Jason Momoa film needed additional time to complete post-production. As for the Zachary Levi-fronted Shazam sequel, its move should be quite beneficial, as it will now be able to open in premium format screens, including IMAX, and no longer has to compete with the juggernaut that is 20th Century Studios' Avatar: The Way of Water. Both release date shifts will likely be huge boons for the box office, as the first Aquaman grossed $1.148 billion globally in 2018, while the recent Shazam racked up $366 million from its April 2019 opening. Yeah, they're the dates. More recently, The Batman collected $770.8 million from the same March window, so Warner Brothers is likely banking on Shazam 2 to receive a similar boost and maybe hoping it can reach the heights of the Matt Reeves directed blockbuster. Yeah, that's about it. I just think they should fast track these things. The idea is to keep getting product out. I don't think they have a whole lot left on the back burner. I mean, Batman 2 is going to be a ways away, and I honestly am not looking forward to that film. I don't even want to see it. Then there's Wonder Woman 3, which they still have in the back burner, which I guess fans were soured on Wonder Woman 1984. I didn't hate it. I think it was a good film with some problems. What else do they have to offer? That, obviously they'll probably have Black Adam sequels. There's still no word on a Man of Steel 2 or / Superman project with Superman starring Henry Cavill. Warner Brothers don't have a whole lot on their plate lately. I'm still hoping to hear something about a Harley Quinn project, even though I know, given the last two projects that Margot Robbie hasn't been involved with Harley Quinn, they really weren't to my liking. So I really don't know if I should expect much in that way. I would like to see really a rebooted Batman franchise. I really don't like the Batman, and I'm really not crazy about Ben Affleck's Batman, the crazed killer Batman. I mean, they could always walk that back, I suppose, but it's basically the same thing they did in the 90s with the Michael Keaton Batman. He was a killer Batman, and then we kind of walked it back with, Batman Forever, and then Batman and Robin. And it doesn't work that way when you try to do that. You really can't have a killer Batman from the jump and then try to walk him back and say, well, he learned his lesson. He's not going to be like that anymore. I think that's kind of also the thought with Superman, with Zack Snyder's Superman, where he learned that there are other ways to deal with problems and you can't kill and whatever. You don't start with that as your foundation. You don't walk in on the ground level with a past of the hero killing and then say he's not going to do that anymore. They did that with Arrow too on television. A lot of people preferred Arrow killing. I didn't, but again, it felt for a very uneven tone for that show. He was a killer. He was going to kill anybody that knew his secret, and then he was going to not kill and be something better. And then he went back to killing because that's what I mean. It's you have to either have the rule, the Batman rule, the Superman rule of no killing established firmly in the first story, in the first movie. Otherwise, you're just going to have to reboot it because you can't come back from that. You can't walk back from that. All right, we've got a comment here from one of our favorite viewers, Hunter Iggy. Let me see if I can get this up on screen. All right. Johnny Torch, what is your thoughts on Jason David Frank retiring from Power Rangers? Honestly, I'm not a big Power Rangers guy. I wish I had a lot more to say about it. I believe he was the green/white ranger. Is that the character he played? I'm not sure. But I know that it's a very popular franchise, and I know that a lot of people, grew up with it. I was a little bit, a little older at that time. I was at the right age for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was like, when that came out, like in the late 80s, I was like 10 or something. And that grabbed me at the right time. But I think it kind of was a little bit beyond my time when Power Rangers came out. So I never really got into it. So I watched one or two things from them, and it was all right for what it was. But I mean, it just never grabbed me enough to really follow it, I suppose. So sorry if that's not really a satisfactory answer, Hunter, but that's about all I know about Power Rangers. I seen 2 or 3 episodes in the early days, and then I seen the movie, I think, with Ivan Ooze, which was amusing. I seen that basically because of the chick, the I don't know what she was, like a barbarian chick or something, and I thought she was cool, and so that's why I watched that movie. But I don't remember a whole lot about the lore or anything, so I don't know. Sorry about that. All right, we're gonna move on now. Speaking about barbarian chicks, we'll get to that in a second, but we got one more story we got to share before we get to that, and that is the Batman. It's not really the Batman. It's I guess an offshoot is supposed to be of the Batman, but it's called the Caped Crusader Batman. And this has been given the sort of the back burner treatment here. HBO Max is not going to show it anymore ever since Zaslav has sort of hit the ground with the axe, the battle axe that he's chopping all these properties off with. But apparently this show is still going to get made, and it's still going to get a streaming service or something to get it shown. So don't be as panicked as a lot of people are. I'm not, like I said, I'm not looking forward to this because I think this is sort of like an offshoot of the Batman, which I didn't like. But it's being run by Bruce Timm, which is a pretty tough call because Bruce Timm has gone down in recent years in his ability to do a Batman project. Nobody was really happy with the Killing Joke and some of the things he's been doing since then. From my point of view, I think Paul Dini is the guy to go to for Batman projects. I think you have a good yin and yang there with Paul Dini and Bruce Timm. Bruce Timm has got the style, he's got the the art, and of course, I owe a lot to Bruce Timm. I mean, my Bullets Bourbon character, literally, I wanted to draw like Bruce Timm. That was what a lot of my inspiration came from. The sort of colorful noir. It's kind of cartoony. It's very simple, but not simplistic. So I'm a big fan of Bruce Timm, but I think that you have to have on the writing side his counterpart, Paul Dini, involved. I think, you know, what they really should do is they should make a show on, you know, the Batman adventures. They're doing the comics of that. I think they're still doing that. I know I read the first, I think I did a review video for that as well. And they should really just adapt a new season of Batman the animated series. That's really what they should do. And they could adapt those stories that they've been writing of, you know, the Red Hood and some of the more recent things. Azazel, I think they've done a storyline from that. Okay, let me see another question from Hunter. What if Jason David Frank came to the DCEU? What villain or superhero would you like him cast as? Oh, gee, that's a good question. You know, we were talking about Red Hood a minute ago. I mean, I guess maybe he's a little too old for that now, if this is the same actor I'm thinking. Maybe in Green Lantern, I could see him maybe as Kyle Rayner. I'm not sure because I guess Kyle would be like another character that's kind of young. You know, I still am holding out hope that Nathan Fillion is going to get Hal Jordan. I know that's another thing where he's kind of aging out. He's like, what is he now? He's like 50 or something. And, you know, they're going to want to cast him kind of young. A lot of people still want to see Tom Cruise as Hal Jordan. That might really be pushing it because he's like 60 years old now. So I don't think Tom's going to get it. But, you know, yeah, I would maybe see him as in the Green Lantern Corps. I'd be happy with that. So anyway, let me look at the copy here for the Batman. In a surprising development, HBO Max has passed on the upcoming animated series Batman Caped Crusader, coming from a star-studded creative team comprised of Bruce Timm, Batman director Matt Reeves, J.J. Abrams, and Batman Beyond character designer and director James Tucker. The show was given a straight-to-series order in 2021. So again, yeah, this is kind of 50-50 for me. I mean, yeah, Bruce Timm, I can see it. The director of Batman Beyond, I can see it. Matt Reeves and J.J. Abrams, I really don't want them involved, you know? I really don't need them involved. Caped Crusader, initially expected to stream on HBO Max, billed as a reimagining of the Dark Knight's mythology akin to Batman the Animated Series. It was described in the show's press release via The Hollywood Reporter, utilizing state-of-the-art animation techniques and technologies available. This powerful creative partnership will once again reinvent Batman and his iconic rogues gallery with sophisticated storytelling, nuanced characters, and intense action sequences, all set in a visually striking world. Warner Brothers Discovery made headlines earlier with cancellation of Batgirl and Scoob Holiday Haunt. Let's see. Also, several titles from its platform, which included the animated series Aquaman King of Atlantis. I didn't even know that was going to be a project. Now TV Line revealed that HBO Max passed on Batman Caped Crusader along with 5 other animated titles expected to stream on the platform. The projects are Merry Little Batman. I don't know what that is at all. Bye Bye Bunny, a Looney Tunes musical. That might have been cute. Again, it's like, I don't know. Did I Do That to the Holidays? A Steve Urkel story. What the heck is that all about? I'm guessing that's animated. I don't know if they're going to bring back Jahali White as Urkel for that, but that would have been interesting. The Amazing World of Gumball, the movie, which I don't know what that is either. And The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. So again, a lot of Looney Tunes stuff got the axe here. I don't know. I feel bad because I'd like to have seen Looney Tunes get the the treatment on the big screen, but this is of course on HBO Max. What about Jason David Frank as Hush? Yeah, that would probably be the best choice, I would imagine, as Hush. Yeah, because they used Hush on, I think, Batwoman, but I don't remember them ever using him anywhere else. But yeah, that would probably I would probably say that would be the best use of Jason David Frank as Hush. So that's a good idea. Thanks for the info hunter. Always welcome on the show. Let's wrap this up here. Let's see. There's a silver lining as TV Line reports that all projects will be shopped to other companies. Furthermore, the Hollywood Reporter's Boris Kitt clarified that Cape Crusader, which is deep into production, was not canceled and would end up finding a new home. While HBO Max passing on a high-profile project like Cape Crusader seems surprising, the move comes as part of Warner Brothers Discovery's changing content focus. In this new iteration, it's just Batman right now. The Justice League doesn't exist, and there aren't any other superheroes. It's Batman. You're watching this lone figure swimming through the cesspool of Gotham. It's Batman, alone. This, according to producer James Tucker during 2021's DC Fandom. So again, this is another thing where they're like starting over from scratch. I'm so tired of that. I am so tired of ground level Batman. I want to see the Bat family. I want to see Robin. I want to see, Dick Grayson Robin. I want to see Jason Todd. I want to see, go through the whole Robin franchise storyline. That's a long storied history where we could see it, evolve and develop over the course of seasons. And of course, Tim Drake. And then you can have, I'm not crazy about Damian. You can have him maybe, I guess, if you want. Stephanie Brown, right, is the question, and not the question. What was her name? The spoiler. You could do a lot of crazy things with Batman that they're just not willing to do because they want to keep going back to square one. They want to go back to ground level and start over. And it's just, to me, that's boring. That's why I say Batman is like stuck on the wheel of pain. He just goes around doing the same thing over and over. And when he finally gets any progress, it's like they start him back at the beginning and, go around that wheel again. I'm tired of the grim and gritty. I'm tired of like the standalone franchise. Bring in a whole, make it something that will last. You could have a Batman franchise last 20 years, just Batman alone, using only his characters, not crossing over with Superman, Wonder Woman, or anything. Just use the Batman world, and you can have this franchise go on for 20 years. Now, I'm not saying I would like to see a Batman like World's Finest and Trinity, where you bring Superman in, you bring Wonder Woman in. But really, if you just use the Batman, you could just use the Batman characters, and you could still have a 20 years worth of stories. Like I said, give us the Robins. Then you can introduce Batgirl. Then you introduce, you could do the Nightfall saga. And I mean, there's so many great things, so much storytelling you could do. Batman's villains are endless. His rogues gallery is so deep. I mean, you won't even have to touch the third stringers in his rogues gallery until probably, 15 years in. I mean, multiple stories, of course, with Joker, Riddler, Penguin, Catwoman. You could just go on and on. And unfortunately, nobody's got any foresight to see that, to do that. And I don't know why. It's like they're just stuck in their ways. They're stuck doing this, and they're just going to continue doing this. All right, so there you have it for Batman Cape Crusader. Let me know what you think in the comments below about continuing on with the Cape Crusader series. All right, so we're going to take a quick break here, and we're going to get to our final story of the evening. I got to get some dinner, but I want to give you guys a chance to see this. Yep, fighting back the tears here. I'm still fighting back the tears every time I see that video. But you can still check out The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye. You can still find out what happens. Does Bullets Bourbon survive? Well, we're gonna have an issue 10. So I guess the question at this point is, how does he survive? But you will find all that out in that tremendous storyline, that story arc that we've been hyping, the family jewels in the Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye issues 7, 8, and 9. We've got them packaged in a, 3-pack. I used to love that when I was a kid. I noticed that a lot too. People still like that. When you package them in a bag, I always have them like individually. And for 10 cents a bag, you can get like a Ziploc bag and put 2 or 3 in. And when I was a kid, that was the whole thing. You went to it wasn't even the grocery store. It was like, Zale. I remember going to Zale when I was like 4 years old or something. And they had like 3 comics squashed in the bag. There was like Avengers, Spider-Man, Iron Man, and then, the Hulk. There was like 3 issues. And you would like try to peek and see what the middle issue was because it was a surprise. And it was always exciting. And of course, back then, we're talking the early 80s, they were quality comics. I mean, Iron Man was like the Michelini run. And I think maybe, I don't know, was it like maybe Roy Thomas was on Avengers or something? I don't know. I mean, he was like more in the 70s, I guess. But I mean, you'd be getting comics that were like maybe a year old that they didn't know how to get rid of, you know what I mean? But still, it was great. It was wonderful. And I noticed when you put comics in a set like that, people like really get excited. And that's what I'm trying to do here is like make a pack. And like I said, with the armbands, very exciting because, I always wanted the armband for Death of Superman and I couldn't get one. And now I'm creating the armbands for the Adventures of Bullets Bourbon. It's a really exciting moment. You got to kind of pinch yourself sometimes. I'm in this business. I get to do all this cool stuff. All right, so we're on to our final story of the evening, and I got to get going because I got to get some dinner. I got to get a pizza. I'm getting hungry. But this is a really exciting story. This is if you really want to be excited about something, if you're tired of hearing bad news and you're tired of hearing how everything is crap and the SJWs have taken over, well, score one for the good guys here. It honestly looks like they've cast an actual honest-to-goodness redhead as Red Sonja in the upcoming Red Sonja movie.
Way. Yes, way.
Apparently, that is the case. That is what we're hearing. And it looks like it's going to happen. The Red Sonja movie has not been able to get off the ground, unfortunately, in several years. But then again, fortunately, it's finally getting off the ground when there's an actual actress appropriate for the role. All right, here we go. Here's this lovely girl, a lovely looking lady, who looks like she could play Red Sonja. Now, I don't know what her normal hair color is, but she at least is Caucasian, which I know this seems shocking that we have a Caucasian actress going to play a ginger. The ginger side has been... it's been unbelievable in recent years. Batgirl, we just had that happen with Batgirl recently, where she was cast as a Latino actress. Why would you do that when, Batgirl is Irish? I mean, I've had arguments on Twitter like this past week over that because the Batgirl stans they are hardcore. And it's all coming when you all whittle it away down to its bare minimum. It's all SJW politics. It's all, we have to cast an actress of color because there's not enough great roles for actresses of color. So we're going to take Catwoman away from a green-eyed actress and make her a black actress take the role. We're going to take, and you can go down the line from everything. Iris on the Flash, both in television and movie, and then we have like Little Orphan Annie. We have basically all down the line. We haven't had an actual redhead take the role of a redheaded character probably in a dozen years. Zendaya, you say Zendaya, I say Zendaya, whatever. She played MJ, I understand, not the actual Mary Jane Watson, but of course, Spider-Man and MJ, what do you expect? What do you think? You think of a redhead. Well, apparently now we are going to get a redheaded Red Sonja, which kind of makes sense, seeing as that's the character's nickname. Of course, they probably would change it to something like Red Sonja because she's covered in blood or something. But I always took it Red Sonja's name came from the fact that she was a redhead. I never read Howard's original novels, but I had a couple of the comics, the original Marvel comics, which are great, by the way, if you can pick up, speaking of Roy Thomas, I think he did a lot of those Conan adaptions, because originally I think they adapted a lot of the Howard novels to comics. And then I think at a certain point when they were running out of material, they started like coming up with their own stories. So it might be the same thing with Red Sonja. Okay, Millennium Media's Red Sonja has not had the smoothest of journeys to the screen, but we recently learned that the reboot has enlisted a new director in MJ Bassett, and the movie has now found its lead. The Hollywood Reporter reports that production is already underway in Bulgaria, with Revenge star Matilda Lutz taking over from Hannah John Kamen as the titular warrior after the Ant-Man and the Wasp actress was forced to part ways with the project due to a scheduling conflict. The cast will also feature Wallace Day as Anasia, Robert Sheehan as Dragon, Michael Bisping as Hawk, Martin Ford as General Karlak, and Elisha Montague as Amarak. I don't know any of these characters because, again, I was never deeply into Red Sonja / Conan comics. I just know them in passing. But they sound like they're already underway, so this looks pretty good. This looks like this is actually going to happen. This might actually happen. And hopefully, at least personally, I'm hoping it's not going to be a R-rated film so that I can actually see it. Brigitte Nielsen previously played Red Sonja in the 1985 movie, which I had seen. I don't think that was rated R because I remember seeing that as a kid on telly. It was slaughtered by critics at the time and wasn't a big hit for MGM, but has since gone on to find a cult following. I've wanted to make a Red Sonja movie since I was a teenager. She has been a powerful presence for me and a character that I have always wanted to bring to the screen with my own voice and vision. When I met Matilda Lutz, I knew she had all the magic I was looking for and could see the complexity and depth she would bring to Sonja, Bassett said in a statement. MJ is an amazing filmmaker with fantastic vision, and Matilda was absolutely brilliant in Revenge, that we knew she was right for the role the moment we saw her, making them the perfect duo for Red Sonja, added Millennium Media president Jeffrey Greenstein. In addition to her performance in Revenge, now, I don't know. I never heard of this. Is this the television show? No, I don't know. I thought it was, wasn't Revenge a television show with the gal from The Winter Soldier and all that stuff there? She played Sharon Carter. Can't remember that chick's name right now. But anyway, Lutz has appeared in the likes of Zone 414, Rings, and Classic Horror Story. Bassett's previous projects include Solomon Kane. That's another Howard project. I don't know. I don't think I've seen that one, though. Endangered Species, Rogue, and episodes of Freeform's Motherland, Fort Salem. No release date has been announced. So again, this sounds exciting. This sounds like it has promise. And the only thing that I think will stand in the way of this being a great film is if they don't put her in the silver bikini. Yeah, quite honestly, that's the draw. You don't put her in the silver bikini, and I don't think, you don't got a show. You don't got a movie. You got to give her the red hair. You got to give her the silver bikini, and you got to make sure she knows how to swing a sword. I think that's basically all you need to be Red Sonja. They didn't quite have the silver bikini for Brigitte Nielsen, but yeah, have some guts. Come on, guys. Get some testicular fortitude going here and give her that costume. And honestly, be like printing money, quite honestly, quite frankly, if I may be so bold, if I may be blunt, if you will. All right, so let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you a Red Sonja fan? Are you excited by the prospect of this news? Matilda, is that her name? Matilda Lutz, a Italian beauty, who is now set to play the, she's not a Cimarron, what is she? I don't know. She's a barbarian bad girl. And let us know what you think in the comments below. All right, so that is another stellar broadcast. Thank you for being here. I want to thank Hunter Iggy for showing up and adding some great comments and questions to the program. You're always welcome to show up. And, of course, the same is held for all. I mean, the more comments and questions, I love taking them. leave a comment below, and we always addressed all our comments in a next broadcast. So I haven't had a lot of comments to read lately, and you're making me worried here. Come on, give me some comments below. I want to read them. I want to answer your questions. I want to address any topics you have. You know, something interesting that we might do. I used to like doing the horror broadcast when we used to review a horror film. You know, classic horror. Maybe I'll bring that back for October. It's been like about, geez, we've been doing the show here for like 6 years. We've had the channel for like 6 or 7 years now. And it's probably been 5 years since we've done a show, a review. So that might be something interesting we want to bring back for October. So if you have any ideas of any classic horror you want me to review, and when I mean classic horror, I mean like sort of pre-1960. You know, we do some Hammer. I watch Hammer sometimes, the classic Hammer films. But I really don't even get too deep into the Hammer films. I really want to stick to like the Universal, maybe something from RKO, you know, something like that. If you're interested, you know, see if we can get together on the same page as that, and we can look at some classic horror movies again. I want to do some classic reviews again. And since I'm making commercials and trailers and stuff, I'm having fun editing again. But again, the book is the thing. We want to make sure the book is getting the proper attention. And that's why I spend all my time now. When I first started doing a YouTube channel, it was fun trying to do YouTube videos and reviews and also doing the book at the same time. But I can't, you know, I found that I have to put all my eggs in one basket. I can't do both. So it's the reason why, unfortunately, the best bet is to live stream. And I can't do too many reviews anymore. But hopefully we'll get some reviews out too as well in the near future. Be sure you check out The Adventures of Bullets, Bourbon, Private Eye. We want to get that to you pretty soon. The next issue, which is our big 10th anniversary issue once again, the Man of Our Times arc, The Return of Pencil Neck. In Get the Lead Out, issue 10. We're going to be having this at print probably, hopefully by the end of 2022, because it's the 10th anniversary this year. So we want to get it out this year. Hopefully it will be out and available probably within the next month or so. And so that about wraps it up. Thank you for joining us. And until next we meet, this is Johnny Torch reminding you once again, keep the flame burning brightly, and I'll be with you again real soon.